In today's video, we're going to be talking about the tropics here. We do have Hurricane Tammy out there in the middle of the Atlantic and another area of disturbance that we do need to talk about today. In the upcoming pattern, we do have some big time winter storms happening out west that look snowier and snowier every single day. We do expect quite a lot and a handful of snowstorms out there, so there's going to be a whole lot to discuss. Also, the eastern states, it's not going to be too quiet out here either. We are going to have plenty of rainfall and some big temperature flips. Things have been colder for a while. It is going to warm up, but it is looking even colder after this warm up is said and done. So we need to discuss that later on today, and we will take a long range look as well. Now, before we dive into things, be sure to check out Prestige Weather, where we just released our third winter forecast there for early access. You can find that in the pinned comment and description down below. It's only $5 a month, and you get early access to all of those monthly and seasonal forecasts. You also get weekly consulting calls and other consulting services within that community. Again, only $5 a month. Absolutely crazy deal. Let's get into things, and as we take a look at the tropics here again, we can see Hurricane Tammy right there. And this storm is down to a 992 millibar low pressure center, and it has 80 mile per hour sustained winds. So this is for sure not even close to only being a tropical storm. So this is well above hurricane status. And this disturbance, for days now, I've been telling you guys that I really don't think this one is going to develop. I'll be the first to admit that, but we have upgraded to a 60% chance of development over the next 2 days and over the next 7 days. So this is one that we definitely need to watch. I still think that its window of time to develop is still relatively short. I also think that the area that it is in is a relatively bad area for tropical development. With all that being said, it could still develop, and now we have more chances than not. So I will eat my words on that one if that does end up happening, but we're going to track this daily. We are going to take it seriously. It doesn't matter what I said yesterday and the day before because the weather is always changing. So yeah, we're going to be watching this one. For the cone forecast here, let me fix this. For the cone forecast here for Hurricane Tammy, as you can see, it's doing a little bit of an S-curve, okay? It's going to move kind of towards the northwest. It's going to turn towards the northeast, and then it's going to turn back towards the northwest. So this one's going to be snaking its way northward, as you can see, remaining at hurricane status at least through Thursday morning. And as you can see, that one is expected to lower back down to tropical storm status by the time we're taking a look at 8 a.m. on Friday. So this one could be moving towards Bermuda overall, but if it does so, we don't expect that one to be too intense by that point. We are obviously pushing towards November, and the odds of this one being a stronger storm further north in the Atlantic is dwindling quickly. As we dive into the upcoming pattern, I just want to take us towards tomorrow afternoon, and we get our first little low pressure system out west, 998 over Colorado, but we don't have that much cold air available yet. So we're going to move right past this, and as we reach into Tuesday, what we start to see change is there is some push from the north here in the west, as you can see. And this is going to be colder air diving southward. We have a little bit of a frontal boundary here as well, helping everything move along. And we do expect relative storminess to take place throughout this kind of boundary zone. We talked about that either yesterday or the day before. And by Wednesday, we see this boundary area, as I just mentioned, is still pretty much in effect here from Texas through Oklahoma and even into the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. And then we see a full-fledged snowstorm taking place up here for the Northwest for states like Washington, Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, even into North Dakota there, we are seeing heavier snowfall. By the time we're reaching later on Thursday, we do see a 999 millibar low pressure center. And we do see very heavy snowfall here for portions of Idaho, Wyoming, up into Montana, and even into North Dakota. We will take a look at the snowfall totals in a little bit, but it is going to be drastic because this is not the only snowstorm that we see. It does move up by Friday. Our low is now located over somewhere in eastern Canada. We see a bit of a frontal boundary set up there. But look at all this ripe cold we still have available in this area with fresh snow on the ground. By the time we reach Saturday, we already have snowstorm number 2. Some broad low pressure here, and then snowfall to the north. A pretty similar setup here. And this one is stretching all the way from states like California, Oregon, Nevada, and Idaho through into states like Wyoming, Utah, Montana, and even up into the Dakotas, Minnesota, and as far eastward as Wisconsin. So we are seeing a far stretching snowstorm with this one. And really, it just continues. I mean, look at how intense this looks by this frame. This is going to be for sometime on Sunday morning, October 29th. And we have plenty of heavy snowfall here for the Rockies, all the way up through the northern plains and into Minnesota there. As we keep going, what we see is that that low moves northward, and then we get a strong gradient cold front here taking place as this cold air looks to now push eastward after this point. So what we see happen is a full-on Arctic blast has now moved into the eastern United States as a result of that cold front, and this would for sure, without a doubt, be the coldest air of the season so far. We have heavier snowfall taking place over the Great Lakes. We have colder air overall for all of the eastern states, and now we have a positive PNA building in out west, which is going to help to just continue to move that cold air eastward. Let's take a look here at the total precipitation, and we are seeing heavier amounts in the northwest. A lot of this is going to be in the form of snowfall, but I would say the heaviest pocket of precipitation overall is this kind of boundary zone that we end up seeing take place for quite a while. We will have a ridge here, so I'm going to draw a positive. So this is going to be warmer air setup. Then we're going to have colder air out to the west, and this is going to cause all these storms to want to move in between, and that is why we see pretty consistent precipitation for at least the first half of that model run for this area. Total snowfall here, no surprise that we get extreme amounts out west. I'm just going to break down all these colors because it's too hard to really decipher different locations at this point, but if you're anywhere in the grays, it's dusting. If anything, blues are 2 to 6 inches, purples are 6 to 10, pinks are 10 to 20. Your pastel blues are going to be 20 to 30 inches, and then your pastel pinks, like for Wyoming into Montana, that is going to be 30 inches plus. Certainly a lot of snowfall for those mountaintops, and skiing conditions are going to be absolutely ripe out there in the western mountaintops and western ski resorts. Now, as we take a look at the temperature pattern, again, we do see this cool down still lingering, but by the time we're reaching towards mid to late week this week, we do see very warm temperatures on the way. Even as we extend towards the weekend, very warm compared to normal here in the east. And out west, we see this very potent cold air mass here for the northwest especially. As we continue on, though, we do see that eventually you can really see that cold front here, right here if you can't see, I guess. But that is clearly moving eastward in a hurry. The air just to the east of it is extremely warm as warm air is racing out ahead of that cold front. This is very typical. But we will see this eventually, as you can see, for about Halloween Day and just after it, bring in a full-fledged Arctic outbreak to the eastern states. It still, by the end of this model run, has not fully moved in, but it is well on its way, and it will have fully set in by November 1st, 2nd, 3rd timeframe, without a doubt. Now, as we take a look at the long-range pattern, we do see that same type of guidance here. This is as we're taking a look at the 31st through the 5th of November, and we see clearly colder temperatures here in the east. Same thing kind of prevails for a while here. It gets a little less potent, but we see another really cold time frame, maybe around the 20th through the 25th time frame. We'll be watching closely for that. And even at the end here for December 1st through 5th, we clearly have some very warm air setting up, compared to normal at least, out west. And this is going to continue to send that cold eastward. And we're seeing signals in the long range of that continuing, so we're going to watch it closely here on the channel. We do upload every single day, so be sure to subscribe for more weather-related content just like this video. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.